COVID. Yeah, well, a lot of it can. We were heading into, you'd have to say, COVID aside, we were heading into a slightly higher inflation era just because we'd been in a no inflation era for so long. Things have to cycle, but the COVID factor and the delays to production, all the factories shutting down last year, the shipping services shutting down, everything trying to start up again and struggling to do that has definitely had an accelerating effect on it. And so people are arguing about whether this is transitory or not, and then you've got to look at the word transitory and say, well, is it what does that mean? Is the pandemic going to linger for 18 months or 2 years more, and then that would just keep those prices up there, and by that point you've got a situation where wages are chasing the inflation up, and you might start to have that problem setting into the economy, which we really don't want, and the Reserve Bank will be trying to head off, but of course they head that off with higher interest rates, and that's not much fun either.
I can't remember what we did in the 70s to get out of it.
Auckland City,
that, really. I guess
no one here.
Right up
It's
at
like
Rogernomics.
dead town.
Yeah, the conventional
Before,
wisdom would be
a lot
that
of people here, a lot of students, a lot of international students, a lot of tourists, a lot of backpackers, a lot of foreigners, just roaming around the city. But now there's no one here, only construction workers, only road works. That's it.
What was done in the late 80s and early 90s.
City is
a
bit quiet.
Under control by the early 90s.
Business people here are struggling
so you
too.
can argue the toss on how hard we went there. Some other things happened in the world.
A lot of shops closing down too.
In the 90s anyway, computing and all the big production gains from technology, they tend to put downward pressure on. And I think, we've actually seen it. We've been through an era for the last 10 or 15 years where it's been constant downward pressure on pricing because the internet has been making things much cheaper, for example.
Right.
So it's taken a while for these more fundamental structural forces to come back, and some people thought inflation was dead forever.
That's right. But there were always the old sage wise ones going, it wasn't always like
that's
this.
right. And you really don't want it to get embedded. And I think the Reserve Bank's aware of that. Of course, the difficulty now compared to back in '87 or whenever was that they were running hugely high interest rates at that point. Even just going back to prior to the GFC, I think where we thought inflation was going to land, they were running an OCR of 8.5%, and what's happened, of course, is the debt levels have gone up so high. We've got so many people so heavily indebted that you sort of think, well, if you had to put interest rates up to those kind of levels, you'd have the system falling over, but people just wouldn't be able to pay the money back because interest costs would be so high. So they can't do that, so it just makes it a bit more, puts a bit more tension on the whole process. In the US, they haven't even started moving rates, and they are also battling these kind of inflation problems. They certainly are
Most of the shops are closed.
But New Zealand does seem to be at the front end of some
Business are so much struggling here.
What's it going to mean for the average consumer?
Well,
tough times ahead or belt tightening?
It comes out of your pocket, and it comes. The horrible thing about inflation is that it hits the poorest people hardest because you've got less discretion around the basics, and if a higher percentage of your income is spent every week, if you're not a saver and you're putting all your money onto spending on food, rent, and petrol and those kind of things, those fixed costs are all rising, and so it basically makes people poorer. And I guess if you're wealthier, you've got more discretion, and the fund, you don't have to spend on luxury items and things like that. But what will generally happen is that you start to see wages chasing it up, and you get into a spiral which if it gets out of control, then the value of money starts to diminish noticeably, and that's what economists, or what the central banks, the governments all want to avoid, is that sense of lacking confidence in the currency, which, if you go back to those days in the oil shock in the 70s and that sort of stuff, things move pretty fast. People get used to it, and you go back far enough and you get to the horrible things you hear about Argentina or Germany pre-war, when just the currency starts to lose value overnight. look, we're not, it's change as good as a holiday. Worrying about this is a nice distraction from worrying about COVID.
Just some good news would be great. Just once.
Yeah.
Just once. It'd be good. Thank you, Liam. Liam Dan, New Zealand Herald Business Editor at Large. Oh, and the economists are joining them. Bloody COVID modelers with the gloomy predictions. Fabulous. Josh, hello. Good morning to you.
COVID really hit a lot of people here in Auckland City.
Hey, I'm a long time
See most of the shops.
first time caller.
Oh, yay.
It's
I love
closed.
those.
No business.
So I just wanted to say a few things about the three fishermen that passed away on the weekend.
Yeah.
A bit about myself is I'm an ex-commercial fisherman and I work as a lifeguard currently.
Oh, okay. Whereabouts?
So I work in the Mount Albert Falls in Auckland.
Right.
Yeah. And I just wanted to mention a few things about the safety precautions when you're going out on the water. Like, I know all the boaties know that already, but you must wear your life jackets when you're going out, because when you get into situations when you're out in the deep sea, the survival rate without a life jacket is actually less than 30 minutes for the regular person.
Wow. Okay.
And it's really important that you wear, especially going over the bar. I'm an avid fisherman myself, and it's really important that you call the Coast Guard before you go out. Do your checks on your boat. Make sure that everything's functioning properly. Make sure you've called the Coast Guard. Make sure you're wearing your life jacket. Make sure you tell someone where you're going. It's really important, because I've heard in the past week, I've heard more than 30 people on the Coast Guard channel being in situations where they shouldn't be, And unfortunately, 5 people have passed away in the Manukau Harbour in the last week.
Yeah.
One on the kayaker, 1 diving, and 3 on the boat. And these all can be avoided just by checking the weather, doing the basic safety check. I know all the boaties out there know this, but I really just wanted to mention this again because it can save your life out there, and that's what I wanted to say.
But it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, the boaties that I've had on over, and even the texts, really, I've only had a couple of texts saying, oh, for God's sake, don't bring up this subject because everyone wants to legislate and bugger them, But it's not very many. Most of the boaties I've had on the show, ever since I've done talk radio, are really sensible people. They wouldn't dream of drinking while crossing the bar or taking up people who weren't in life jackets.
Yeah. You get people who they buy like expensive boats and they haven't done like courses on how to do it or have a lot of experience in rough waters. It's my advice to people who want to get a boat and a big boat: start off small and then work your way to something bigger.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a tinny with an outboard and stay in the harbour.
That's what I have, and there's nothing wrong with that, and you can catch beautiful fish. I just don't want to see anyone else pass away. I love fishing, and I love my fellow fishermen having a good experience out on the water. And there's I don't mean to drum in the message, but wear your life jacket, especially if you're going over the bars, and call the Coast Guard. Let them know where you are. It could save your life.
Absolutely.
That's what I wanted to say.
Couldn't agree more, Josh. I hope you call again. Nice to talk with you. News Talk Fedby just coming up to 11:19.
Sunnyville Williams here. If you have ever wondered who I am and what matters to me, I am sharing my story.
You can't stop the sun from shining. The Sunnyville Williams autobiography.
We passed a lot of
Available now
shops
where all
already.
good books are sold. If you want to increase your income returns and grow your investment portfolio, think of Coastal Cabins.
90%
Now
are
offer the
closed.
opportunity to invest in a managed rental unit with 12% annual returns paid monthly and backed by
10%
substantial
that are
security.
open,
This is a great opportunity
no
to get your
business,
money working
no
for
people
you
here.
with one of New Zealand's largest portable cabin manufacturers. The cabins are already rented and tenanted, so get more information today by calling Coastal Cabins at 0800 422 2469 or email invest@coastalcabins.co.nz. For thousands of years, cultures from all around the globe have recognized the all-natural goodness of plant pollen to support energy levels. And now thousands of Kiwis are discovering the power-packed benefits of Nature Bee Power Pollen, with its near-perfect combination of proteins, minerals and vitamins to support well-being in the modern world. If you haven't tried this incredible product yet, there's never been a better time, with a 100% money-back guarantee if you're not completely satisfied. Give it a go. Order a 3-month supply of Nature Bee Power Pollen for only $69.95 plus postage, and we will include 2 pieces of our pollen and honey soap as a bonus. Call 0800 474 474 or order it online today at naturebee.com. Remember, take as directed and always read the label. NatureBee NZ Limited, Auckland.
With interest rates at historic lows, it's hard to generate returns from your savings. Income Generator from NZ Funds aims to give you returns of 4 to 7% per annum on your investment by investing in premium Australasian companies while reducing share price volatility. There's no minimum investment, no lock-in period, no termination fees. Talk to your financial advisor or visit nzfunds.co.nz. New Zealand Funds Management Limited is the issuer of Income Generator. Our product disclosure statement is available at www.nzfunds.co.nz. Future returns may vary from estimated returns.
Last minute shopping for Halloween. Get your last minute Halloween costume, accessories and more. Look Sharp Store. Shop online at looksharpstore.co.nz. Shipping New Zealand wide and free on orders over $100.
Today at Auto Super Shops, we did a Warrington Waikanae, a battery in Burnside, and an EV up the East Coast. So, for quality vehicle servicing and repairs nationwide, call Auto Super Shops on 0800 455 655. We're New Zealand's mechanic.
Coast FM music hits you right in the feels. Feel good favourites. Auckland 98.2. Closed.
New Zealanders are an adventurous lot, known for exploring new horizons, pushing the limit, travelling abroad. Or, at least we used to. We might not be able to travel very far, but the All Blacks are, and News Talk ZB will bring them to you. Listen to live commentary as our men in black take on the United States, Wales, Italy, Ireland, and France. Oh, that's brilliant All Blacks rugby! The All Blacks end of year tour, live and exclusive on News Talk ZB, your home of sport.
News Talk ZB. Good morning, Matthew.
Hi, Kerry, how are you?
Good, thanks.
So, pretty passionate about the West Coast and West Coast crossings. I've been crossing the Manukau Bar and the Cobra Bar in excess of 30 years. I probably complete 30 crossings a year of either of those bars or transitions, which ends up being 60 crossings, because once you go out, you've got to get back in.
Exactly.
To give you an idea, boating, Auckland's outstanding. You've got the Hauraki Gulf on one side and the West Coast on the other, and they're diametrically opposed and completely different. So boating on the Hauraki Harbour, on the Hauraki Gulf, on a good day is like playing a game of touch rugby. Going over to the West Coast bars, when conditions are a bit tricky, would be the equivalent of playing super rugby. That sort of skill set required.
Yeah.
Okay? But anyone can get in get a boat and go out, and it's the most amazing resource, and we're lucky to be able to do that in New Zealand. So maybe some people that have been over West Coast bars over the Manukau, obviously what you'd want to do is go with someone else first. But what they don't realise is there's probably about 6 factors that you've got to take into consideration to complete a safe bar crossing and what contributes to the conditions. There's tidal flow, there's state of the tide, there's wind conditions, there's swell size, swell direction, and all of those things interacting with each other give you a big cocktail and multiple outcomes.
Yeah.
A lot of people can just go out and don't know why on a good crossing and why the conditions were good. So now we're out and it's all good, but you also have to come back in.
Yeah.
So whenever you want to fish over on those areas and do bar crossings, the first focal point to go and do that trip is, what are the bar conditions going to be like to get across? What are the bar conditions going to be like when I plan to get back in? That's the first port of call, not I'm going to go out today and that comes down your list of your decision making, what it's going to be like.
Usually it's traffic here.
Do you agree with the other advice given by an emailer who said if the surfers are out, then don't take the boat out?
No, because where the surfers are surfing, it's completely different. What you got to understand is when you get down to the location, let's say the Manukau Harbour, you leave somewhere like Littlehuia or something, that you go out, you get down to Destruction Gully, which is the sort of starting point. There's an area of water that becomes very disturbed, it's very deep, but gets a, and one of the other callers mentioned about it, it's like a washing machine effect. So the waves don't have regular nice shapes and flow and patterns. They start to come from all directions, right? Yeah. So you're starting to get water coming from the side or from behind and stuff. Then you start moving into the channel and start your bar transition, and then you're going to get different shaped waves. The same piece of water will change every half an hour due to the tidal flow and the conditions interacting with each other. So you need to understand or be shown those. Coast Guard do bar crossing courses. They're awesome. They'll take you out there in fair weather and show you the channel and how to get out.
but they don't teach you how to operate your boat's capabilities in differing sea conditions, which can change every half an hour.
Yes, that's true.
Simple. The Coast Guard service of logging a boat crossing report's free. It costs nothing. You don't need a radio to do it. You can do it on your phone. Everyone's got a phone. It's free. Life jacket costs $80.
Yeah.
Yep. Put one on the whole time. We've been out there and had to save someone making an exit out of the Manukau Harbour. We were next to them. They were lucky we were next to them. The whole transom of their boat and engine literally peeled off like the sole of a shoe, and that boat was submerged within 40 seconds.
Bloody
They
hell.
had life jackets on. One of the guys made the fatal mistake. So if you imagine the boat going in backwards, and the boat going in back first and pointing upwards, the guy made the fatal mistake wearing a life jacket. I've left my wallet on the dash. He went back into the boat to grab his wallet, and those life jackets push you up with, upwards, floating. Water is now rushing into the front of the boat. He got sandwiched to the inside of the windscreen, plastered off against the windscreen, with the boat going down now underwater. He was skilled enough, or was able to think enough, to whip off his life jacket and slip out of it. Because his life jacket would have killed him in that instance for making that decision.
Right. Oh, but
so you put all of those factors together. You time yourself. You put yourself in a scenario like that and start the stopwatch and give yourself 40 seconds with a whole lot of shock and something happening really quickly, and see what you can achieve in 40 seconds.
Well, I've done the Devonport Naval Base, when they fill the room like you're in a sinking ship.
Yep.
That is terrifying. And you're right. I mean, I'm thinking, what an idiot going back to your wallet, but who knows what shock could do.
Yeah, it's just one of those instant decisions. So I was out fishing on the Kaipara on Saturday morning. This happened Saturday afternoon. I took a friend out who's new to boating, who's never been out over a bar crossing and stuff like that. So I took him in the sun out. The conditions, I studied them for about 2 days. They came right, checked them in the morning, went out, and he was just blown away when I took him down there.
Yeah.
To give you an idea on the Kaipara Harbour, it's 26 miles down to the entrance, and there's nothing around. There's no boat ramps down there. There's lots of people around in the harbour. But if I get into trouble down there, you start the clock at 30 minutes or an hour before anyone can get to me.
Yeah, that's quite true. And great to be able to coach new boaties like that as well. Thank you so much, Matthew. It is 11:27.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Fruit World. Fruit World who? No joke. There's a Fruit World store right at your door. 17 of them in Auckland. You're as funny as Brussels sprouts. You could say I'm an acquired taste.
Fruit World. Farm fresh produce right at your door. With the AMP Kiwi Saver Scheme, we're helping you make the right choices for the future, which is why we're saying no. No to investing in companies producing tobacco, and no to investing in the manufacture of controversial weapons. So, when you're with us, you're saying yes. Yes to helping the planet, and yes to healthy returns. Join the AMP Kiwi Saver Scheme today. Product disclosure statement available at amp.co.nz. AMP Wealth Management New Zealand Limited is the issuer of the AMP Kiwi Saver Scheme.
Oh, buzz off! Bugs bugging you? Let them breeze in and keep insects out with Exceed retractable insect screens for windows and doors. They're hidden when retracted and don't hide your view when in use. A discreet way to keep out those unwanted guests and much more polite than poisoning them. Enjoy a bug-free, spray-free home this summer with Exceed retractable insect screens. Talk to your local Exceed retractable insect screen specialist today. Call 0800 EXCEED.
Auckland, 89.4 FM. Kerry McIver Mornings, engaging in conversation on News Talk ZB.
News Talk ZB. Hi, Willie.
Hi, Kerry. First time caller.
Yay, another one. Excellent.
Hey, I just want to make a comment about Saturday's tragedy.
Yeah.
We went across the bar on Saturday, and when we came back, we were probably 20 minutes, half an hour.
Most of the offices here, employees are working from home.
Right.
It was a bit gnarly in the morning when we went across, about 10, about 10. Coming back, it seemed all calm, and I think the people that came back came back through the North Channel, which is a big no-no as far as I'm concerned.
Why is that, Willie?
It's a lot more dangerous.
Okay.
Coming from that side. Most people go out through the South Channel, or go out and back through the South Channel. So, I mean, being in a little boat coming that way is disaster written all over it. But I've been boating, well, I've had a boat for about 3 or 4 years now, and I've probably crossed the Manukau 20 times in that time. And the first few times I had somebody experienced with me, just talking me through things. And the same happened on Saturday. A friend of mine's young fellow was driving the boat, and we were behind him, talking to him, telling him to look out for and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, that's how you learn things. Apart from going to do the Coast Guard courses, that's a big, something like that. People seem to think I've got a boat now, I can go anywhere, but it's not the case. So,
no, and I would have thought that would be... I mean, I love boating, but I know nothing about it, so I'm just going to start pootling around the coastline and a tinny, and that will do me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, normally when I come around the corner, we launch at Waiau Park.
Yeah.
When I come around the corner to the Manukau Heads, I just look what's ahead of me, and if it looks too gnarly, I'll turn around and fish the Manukau itself. I won't even bother.
Yeah.
Not worth it, you know. Right?
You're still fishing the harbour.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just Saturday was I don't know, an extreme day, and there were literally boats to Africa.
Yeah.
So condolences to the family, but I thought I had my TNT for.
I'm glad you did, and I hope you're full again. Well, it's not that scary, is it?
I don't know, sweetie.
Nice to talk with you. News Talk ZB 11:31.
ZB Auckland, same state of traffic.
Taco Bell Auckland Airport is now open. Now, we had an earlier crash on the southwestern between Walmsley Road and on that has been cleared. Getting reports of a breakdown on the southern motorway between Papakura off and on. If you can update us further, give us a call. 0800 JAMMED is our number. Taco Bell Auckland Airport now open. Check out tacobell.co.nz. A bank is on it for time saver traffic.
John, do you know what would be good? What? One forklift company to handle all my needs. New, second-hand and rental forklifts, big, small, electric, LPG and diesel, with backup parts and service I can rely on.
Mike, you should give Crown a call.
What do you mean?
Crown can help with all that and more. Crown, the one and only call to make for all your material handling needs. There is nothing like Crown. Check it out at crown.com or call 0800 802 002. No risk, no worries.
Lost in a Sahara desert, Lars has a craving. Water! Thanks to Salesforce Customer 360, the teams at Hydration Nation come to the rescue. The marketing team offers him a selection.
Bubbly?
And the service team suggests an upgrade.
Oh, raspberry.
With Salesforce Customer 360, all your teams unite around Lars to make him a happy, hydrated customer. Learn how to succeed from anywhere at salesforce.com/au/360.
At JMI Wealth, we work to grow our clients' wealth with investment portfolios that stand the test of time. Hi, I'm Andrew Callagher, JMI Wealth Director. For more than 30 years, we focused on building generational wealth, allowing our clients to pass on the nest eggs they worked so hard to create. So if you want to secure your lifestyle and provide for the next generation, talk to us about getting the most from your money. Call us or visit jmiwealth.co.nz. JMI Wealth. Investing for generations.
Anne-Marie here from Gilbert's Cartage. Even if you have just a single item that needs to be transported quickly and safely, just leave it to us.
Move house with Gilbert's Cottage. Phone 0800 60 30 20.
Every weekday, Heather Duplessis Allen and News Talk ZB's political editor Barry Soper cover the latest from the Beehive and abroad thanks to Centrix, Credit Bureau of New Zealand. 4:45 weekdays, it's Politics with Centrix. Protect business cash flow, only on News Talk ZB.
News Talk ZB headlines.
With Blue Bubble taxis still operating, whatever the alert level. Annual inflation has risen to 4.9% this quarter, New Zealand's highest inflation in more than a decade. The CPI 2.2% rise in the 3 months to September is the biggest quarterly movement since December 2010. The news isn't great for Auckland ahead of this afternoon's cabinet review of COVID-19 restrictions in Auckland, Northland and Waikato this afternoon. A triage tent has been set up outside Middlemore Hospital Emergency Department
to deal with a possible surge, with new potential exposures at an Auckland apartment block in Eden Terrace. Disgraced expat Kiwi businessman Ron Briley is reportedly appealing his 14-month prison sentence. New Zealand's climate aid for developing countries is increasing fourfold, with a commitment of $1.3 billion over 4 years. At least 50% will go to the Pacific. And James Shaw says Climate Summit offers the world a chance to get back on track. Read more on that story at NZ Herald Premium. Back to Kerry McIver.
Thank you very much. A texter says, my vote is for Kerry and Heather as joint winners of Bird of the Year. Keep up the great work. I notice you've only nominated us, now bats are in the category. But I have been an old bat from time to time over the galloping COVID. Craig, a very good morning to you.
Morning.
Oh, you're at the Auckland Police Maritime Unit.
Yes, I am.
It's one of the quarantine facilities. This hotel is in front of the viaduct. Before was like a tourist destination hotel, but now it's just for quarantine.
Whether it be in the Hauraki Gulf or in the West Coast.
COVID facility.
Down to Coromandel, Great Barrier, and all the West Coast beaches, including the Manukau. So if ever someone rings in, whether it be 111 or we get a call from Coast Guard, we will run the searches and deploy all the assets to the searches and try and find out where the person is or the people in trouble. But I can only say from what I've been listening to this morning, some of your callers very knowledgeable, and most of my message will be just to repeat need for safety equipment. And of the 5 drownings we've had in the last 8 days on the Manukau, I can pretty much say that 4 of them would still be alive today if they had been wearing life jackets.
Does it cause you teeth-grinding frustration when you see this and you know the pain and the ripples of pain that decision has caused and the ongoing pain it's going to cause for years?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, we get these large incidents. I'm afraid we get them far too often. The last one probably being Princy on the map.
Oh, that's awful. That was 8 people, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you know, most of these deaths are preventable, and it's sad to say, but most of them, as you've been discussing, are male.
Yep.
You know, from 20 to 60 years old. Unfortunately, a lot of them are from mixed ethnic backgrounds, and some of them just don't understand bar conditions or just what you need to keep yourself safe when you're on the water.
How can you not know? I mean, I don't know anything about boating, but I know that I wouldn't cross the bar.
Yeah, some of it is complacency and the it's not going to happen to me attitude. Some of it is in resourcing. They've probably got enough money to scrape together to a boat, and then you've got all your safety equipment on top of that. And it's just a sad fact to block. We also get lots of boats being overloaded, especially with youngsters, and the reason they do that is because whether or not the person is fishing on the boat, they can claim the daily allowance for that person. So we get really young kids out on boats. A lot of them don't have life jackets that are fishing properly for these youngsters, and they're just there for the day's ride while mum and dad catch their limit, and they're able to take more snapper.
Oh, how do you do your job without losing all faith in humanity, Craig?
Oh, it's not always the bad days, but
bad days would be pretty bad though.
The bad days are bad, but the good days, we've got probably one of the better jobs in the police on a nice day. But in the middle of the night, when you're looking for someone who the next of kin have rung up and they don't even know where that person has gone fishing or what type of boat they're in, it makes it very difficult for us to try and find them.
Oh, yeah, is it Darwinism, maybe? You know, I mean,
a little bit of that.
See, guys, Auckland City is just a ghost town. There's no business here, no one here.
I can't believe that people would be that foolish not to let people know where they were going. How many?
Thanks for watching, guys. I'm signing off. Keep safe, and then Always look after yourselves, okay?
Wussy about going home with
Bye.
a boat full of fish and